For the figure standing on the right of this stage, scale is everything. This is a boar mukha, a wearable mask reaching up to 12 feet in height, used in the Bhaona theatrical performances of Majuli, a river island in Assam. This tradition, known as Mukha Shilpa, began in the 15th century. The saint Srimanta Sankardeva developed these masks to perform inside namgars, or community prayer halls, using theater to explain the principles of Neo-Vaishnavism to a population that could not read the sacred texts. Every mask is an extension of the island's soil. Because Majuli is an ecological enclave, the materials are strictly local: bamboo, clay, cow dung, and plant-based dyes. This makes the artifacts entirely biodegradable. Without constant care, they dissolve back into the river mud. This creates a unique culture of forced continuity. Since the physical masks are designed to be impermanent, the only way the tradition survives is through the preservation of the engineering knowledge required to build them from scratch. By the late 20th century, that transfer of knowledge was faltering. The satras, or monasteries that protect this sacred art, found fewer and fewer practitioners capable of maintaining the traditional craft. The decline was rooted in the physical design of the masks. A traditional boar mukha could weigh several kilograms, creating a massive physical load for the actors. Because the masks were rigid, a performer's facial expressions were completely hidden, forcing them to rely on broad, exhausting body movements to convey any emotion. There was an economic barrier as well. Fabricating a single mask takes weeks of manual labor, and with no market outside of local religious festivals, master artisans often lived in poverty, which discouraged younger generations from apprenticing. The heavy bamboo and clay structures were becoming a liability. The physical strain on the performers and the financial insolvency of the artisans meant the 500-year-old design was reaching the limit of its practical viability. The construction begins with a theory called the Lakhimi Sutra. Artisans harvest jatibanh bamboo and weave it into these specific hexagonal patterns to create a base skeleton that is both flexible and strong. This diagram shows the structural layers. Over the woven bamboo frame, artisans apply potter's clay mixed with calf dung. Once sun-dried, it forms a hard, insect-resistant shell. The final chemical layer adds red pigment from ground hingle and yellow from heitel. In this traditional method, the clay shell cures into a single, unmoving block. It produces a beautiful sculpture, but it traps the actor behind a frozen face that cannot respond to the nuances of the performance. Change arrived through Dr. Hemchandra Goswami. He realized that to save the tradition, he needed to re-engineer the mechanics of the mask while keeping the sacred, biodegradable materials intact. Goswami introduced bamboo hinges, allowing the jaw to open with the actor's speech. He installed internal pivot points, enabling the eyes to shift gaze. To solve the weight issue, the massive masks were redesigned as lightweight interlocking modular components. These upgrades transformed the mask into an interactive storytelling tool. The actor was no longer just wearing a religious symbol. They were operating a piece of mechanical technology capable of human-like expression. These expressive masks have led to a resurgence of interest in Bhaona across the island. The annual Ras Festival now attracts thousands of attendees, and younger residents are increasingly returning to the satras to apprentice under the master mask makers. The move to a modular, lightweight design also opened a global market. Artisans can now ship these masks as high-end cultural decor, allowing the satras to function as centers of social entrepreneurship that support local livelihoods year-round. This evolution has brought global visibility, including exhibitions at the British Museum. In 2024, the government awarded the Majuli mask-making craft a geographical indication tag, providing legal protection for the island's unique heritage. By altering the physical anatomy of the masks, Dr. Goswami ensured their spiritual and cultural survival. The engineering of the mask had to change so that the tradition itself didn't have to end.